Talk a little about your pro career as a whole, and then the highlights of that, as well as kind of what that's
Yeah.
like to be
Yeah.
traveling like that.
The easiest way to describe it is my brother came out with his family, and he had a son and daughter. They were 5 and 3 years old or something. And he came out and he stayed with us for 2 weeks. And he's like, "You bust your ass." I was like, "You think I just show up to games and play basketball?" He's like, "You're gone all the time." He's like, "Yeah, I'm practicing. You practice in the morning. You come home, you eat, you sleep, you go back to practice. You stay up till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and you go back to sleep, and you rinse and repeat that. You do that every single day." And it is a nice thing where you can practice, do something for 2 hours, take 4 hours off, do another 2 hours, and then take some of that time off to get your night done. But it's a grind. If you're not sore, you're not in shape. So for me to get 12 years and not have any serious ankle or I've had bone chips, don't have any real knee problems except for long flights where you're folded up in half.
That's right.
And then my lower back, 4, 5, and 6, or 5, 6, and 7 are just kind of shot. So I don't do anything on wood floors anymore. I can't even play for 10 minutes with my high school kids because I'll just start walking crooked for a couple weeks. So I've really, with that life overseas, they traveled with me. So I went to Istanbul, Turkey. Then I went to Australia. Then I did 2 years in Slovenia, and I would, the ex-wife and girlfriend at the time. And then once I got finished up with Slovenia, she came over, visited. We got pregnant, asked her to marry me. We were married for about 7 years and raised 3 daughters. But we were living overseas together, except for maybe the preseason. You leave August 15th. They come out September 15th. You're together for that 9 months. During playoffs, you're gone probably 15 out of 25 days. So they're like, I might as well go home and get the house ready. And I'll see you when the playoffs are on. I want to be on the first thing smoking. Once that playoff is over, it's like, so I get to leave 1 day, 2 days? When am I leaving? You've been over there all that whole season. But it's a glamorous job, but it's better to do it when you're in your 20s. Then, my daughters my oldest daughter, Maya, she's played soccer at Georgetown. She's graduating from business. So for her, she's had that experience of being overseas and watching their father play professional basketball. Kiara, she's up at Chicago of Illinois in Chicago, Loyola, Chicago, Loyola of Chicago, and she had that experience. And so the youngest one, Talia, she was kind of at the end of that career, and she got about a year or two of it. But really, as you're traveling overseas, that experience is something you really can't emulate unless you're getting paid. You're really, truthfully, contract comes on a Monday, sign in on Tuesday, pack Wednesday and Thursday, leave Friday for 9 or 10 months, and you're living overseas. You don't know who's going to pick you up from the airport. You're getting on a flight. You don't speak the language. You don't even know what kind of food they're at. So I was in Turkey. I was like, at the deli, I was like, moo! Oh, buck, 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 buck. What is this? And I had to do sound effects to know what the hell the meat is. And then he's like, no, it's woof, woof. I was like, nah, I don't want that.
No.
I don't want the dog over there.
No
And
dog.
so, and so we ended up going over. So one experience over. So you're experiencing these different cultures. And the ex-wife, girlfriend at the time, she's staying in one place. It's like a 1.5 mile walk to where our apartment is. And in Islamic cultures, and some of them in Istanbul, Turkey, these men are eyeballing. They are undressing your girl while they're standing right there. They are just, all 20 of them just lined up, undressing them. Women are kind of low on the totem pole. So she comes back and she's like, you'll never guess what happened. I said, what? She's like, this guy comes up to me and says, Natasha? He's like, no, excuse me. Like, what do you want? He's like, oh, American. A hotel? You go hotel with me? She's like, what the F? What the hell are you talking about? He thought she was a prostitute because she was walking alone and she was an attractive female. And so she says, can you ask one of your teammates how to say, get the fuck away from me in Turkish? And so it's, siktir, get the hell away from me. And she said that happened like 2 or 3 times. So there's some experiences that you just don't really know what to look for. But then you also realize, hey, I'm going to Turkey, and they still owe me $60,000. So I started like this, kind of interviewing players like yourself, like we're doing right now. And I just interviewed players on a YouTube channel called EuroLeague, all one word, EuroLeague. And I just interviewed players and saying, hey, Lynn Washington, how was your team in Japan? Man, they were great. They paid me on time. Never an issue. I'd recommend it to anybody. But then I talked to this one player, and he says, you go to Mongolia, they're going to feed you a horse. He comes into his apartment. and there's a whole horse leg with a hoof and fur on it. So the whole time he's like, man, what is that? He's like, this is our meal. He's like, I'm not eating a horse. Actually, horse is pretty good. I've actually had it. So, so there's a lot of those things that you just don't know what's happening. So through those years, I played in Istanbul, Turkey. I played in Australia, in Melbourne, Australia, with Andrew Gaze, that player that hit like 50 out of 50, like 3 times in a row. Then I played 2 years in Slovenia with Luka Doncic's father, Sasha Doncic. I knew Luka when he was about 3 or 4 years old. And then I did 2 years in Naples, Italy. Then I did a year in Bologna. Then I went to the EuroLeague. And a couple of those years I did some EuroLeague and played against the 𝐓𝐫𝐢𝐷𝐻s and the Real Madrids and the Barcelonas and the Maccabi Tel Avivs. And then I played Cibona in Croatia. Then I played in back to Bologna, Milan, Greece, and finished off in Australia. So I was a traveling basketball salesman.
Got to see all sorts of countries. I know I always tell my wife and my kids, I mean, most of the places that I've been to, sports brought me, to play.
Right.
But as a pro that plays overseas, you just listed off a huge chunk of the countries that you can go visit.
And those are the ones I played in. So I got to also play in Israel and Tel Aviv and Moscow and saw the Red Square. And we would go to Berlin and we go to Stuttgart and we go to Real Madrid and we go to Barcelona. Then we go to Oslo. Then we go down to Egypt, not like near Egypt. Then we go all the way to Eastern Russia. And it was just, negative 30 in the gym when we're warming up. And so all these cool little stories of, man, you went over these places? And I was like, yeah. He's like, what was it like? It was like, it was awesome, but it was just like your hotel. You go to the airport, hotel, gym, then you go out to a club, and then you get back to the airport and you're out of town. So it's not like you really get to visit Moscow. You get to travel in it, but you don't really get to see it.
It's a really unique experience, like you said, in your 20s. And I would imagine too, when the kids are young enough, I know I thought about this a lot for coaching. When I coached for a couple of years at Chico State and kind of made the decision to go back to Sacramento. When the kids get to school age and you start thinking about
they start hitting 5 and 6.